time, and we are. So we were talking a second ago about if we were going to write our Jordan Poole diss track. The punchline would have to be Bob Myers. $140 million, bro. And let me write this down because I don't want to get any of these numbers wrong. 0 for 4.
0 for 4 in 10
minutes. 10 minutes.
Just throwing up blanks, bro.
Okay, and then Lonnie Walker. 15 points in the fourth quarter.
Insane, man.
What's up, Nick? Thanks for joining us.
Yes, Nick.
Dude, 15 points in the fourth quarter from a role player. And then the other role player coach was like, I can't trust him. Is this series over? Do you think it's over? Lakers have now won because Lonnie Walker is a better role player than Jordan Poole, or how do you see it?
Well, I mean, listen, if Jordan Poole is done and he's checked out now, then yeah, this series is over. But if Jordan Poole comes back with a little vengeance, listen, they've been down here 3-1 before. This is not the first time their team has been down 3-1. So it feels different because things aren't right. I mean, Curry 31 points, like Klay Thompson 9. You know what I'm saying? Like something's not right now. And I thought it was Poole, but I mean, I think they have a way bigger issue. And on the other side,
good. Coming into the series though,
yeah.
Let me ask you, like, would you have thought that the Lakers had better role players than the Warriors?
Because I'm surprised. That was one of the reasons that I highlighted. I thought the Lakers were going to win is because I felt like the Lakers were a better more well-rounded than Golden State. That Golden State had too many injuries and too many question marks going into the series. I mean, it's fine against a team that's never been there before and they were able to beat Sacramento, but when you're playing against another seasoned veteran team like the Lakers, you got to be on your A game. You're not going to be able to win, playing C game like you were able to do so against Sacramento. So, this is do or die. And my thing is that can the Warriors come back? Yes, but will they? Because on the other side, you've got one of the best closers of all time, and LeBron's not playing like a chump, secondhand, used piece of furniture. I mean, he's playing really, really well. 27 points, missed 15 shots the other night, but I don't think that's a negative for what we we're seeing him do. 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and just doing what LeBron does. So if they don't come out ready to play to try to stop LeBron, then they're done. But if they come out and they can actually play some defense, then I don't know. I mean, I think that they could pull this to maybe a game 7. I don't know, though. It's hard to say because LeBron looks good.
That's the thing. Like, if you're going to pick one player to say, like, close out a series, like, you've already got the lead. Like, LeBron's that guy who has that experience. And he's got AD playing at a high level, or AD's playing at a high level. But I definitely have seen a different side of AD since LeBron. Like, he powers through things, and he's really kind of learning what he's capable of. And you start to see him kind of, like, become, I don't know, what everybody kind of knew he could be, but now in the playoffs, which means the whole world of difference. So,
yeah, 23 points, 15 rebounds type of shit. Like, when you're playing against a team that doesn't have a legit center, you need to have somebody like Anthony Davis who can play that power forward center position that just dominates across the board. And yeah, he's going to draw people like Draymond Green on him and stuff like that, which, is difficult. But when he's putting up 23 and 15, that's, I mean, on Draymond and on other guys that they're putting on him, that's a huge win.
For sure. Nick, we're glad you say you normally join us a little bit in and then you watch from the beginning. So this time we're actually getting to enjoy you,
hang out with you, man,
around for the chat. So what do you think about this Lakers series? How do you feel like it's going to go? You think the Warriors are down and out, or we're going to see a bounce back? I know that they're capable of it, and when they start really playing well, but to me, when I watched because that's all I saw was the last few minutes of the game, because I went to bed after the Knicks Heat game, which I want to talk about quite a bit. But when I watched a few minutes, it seemed to me like Steph was just flat out exhausted. Like he was settling for really, really deep step backs and stuff because he knew he could work 3 times as hard and end up with the same shot. And it kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know, whenever you're like playing in a one-on-one game, and like that person has you really worn down, and you could go get a couple points in the post, but you'd rather go ahead and just settle for the 3 because you're just like, and then it's like a turnover they laid, and you're like, that's when you start losing the game. And it seemed like right when you normally see the Warriors take it up a notch, they were like stalling. And I think that has a lot to do with what we were saying about Poole. Like the fact that coach doesn't feel like he can trust these guys, and he's looking for it. And the biggest testament to me when I looked at the number of minutes in the end was Moses Moody got more minutes than anybody else off the bench for the Warriors. Now, he didn't play a whole lot in the regular season for them. And I just look at him like he's a good player. He does deserve those minutes, but I think he had like 18 minutes and it was the most off the bench. They're not getting enough contributions from guys to make sure that their stars are accelerating in deep into the fourth quarter, and flat out the Lakers are, because when Lonnie Walker comes out and puts up those 15 points, then all of a sudden everybody else is letting the game come to him, and you saw the Warriors trying to force the game, and that's why I think there's like they had a shot, they were down 3, right, and Draymond turned the ball over with like 10 seconds left under the basket. You know, like those types of things happen when you're pressing. You're trying to create, you jump up in the air, you've got nowhere to go, and you've got to avoid the basket because so it's just like not the version of the Warriors we've seen. Look, winning championships takes a toll on you. This could be, you know, kind of hangover from last year's deep run, but I'm just not seeing that depth.
Yeah, and I feel with the Warriors, I feel with the Lakers, they're in a position that, I mean, let's just put it out there. The Warriors are the most hated team in basketball. They just are. I mean, like people were like, nah, I hate this team more. But if you ask 9 out of 10 fans that are not Warriors fans who they hate the most, it's going to be the Warriors, right? Like we joke around.
Championships do that to teams, though.
Yeah,
you know
and we joke around about Jordan Poole, you know, as a joke. But the reality is that I respect who Jordan Poole is and how he was able to get $140 million for being in. I call it the $60 million punch. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean,
you think he's an $80 million player?
I think he probably would have signed for between $80 and $110 million. And I think that punch made it so that, hey, let's be quiet. Let's let this go away. We don't want Draymond Green getting suspended for, you know, significant amount of time. You know, you say it's okay. Well, but how much more millions do you need to be able to be okay with this? I mean, like, that's what businessmen do. Am I not right? You know, like, they throw money at the situation and making it go away. And I feel like that's what Poole stumbled into. And do I make fun of the guy? Yes, but on the same sense, I respect him because he cashed in on something. And why wouldn't he?
Let's circle that and talk about the amount of like that was this last offseason, right? So here we are this offseason. They've overpaid for a player, which, you know, cuts down on your depth, right? The team's gone through this.
Would you take 3 first-round picks to take him? I wouldn't. Not with that contract.
Well, take 3 first-round picks to take him?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, there's not a team in the NBA that would take 2 picks for Jordan Poole right now.
Let me think about this. If you could, I would, under this, I would say if you push them the 3 furthest out picks as possible. If you say 3 next picks, I'd be like, no, I couldn't do it. But if you said 3 furthest out picks, $140 million.
Couldn't. I don't think Jordan Poole is somebody that.
But here's the thing: you can find a way to
couldn't swallow
prove
that cash.
He's like a 18-point player a game, right? And then the last year he's an expiring contract. So really, you're talking about 3 years and you get 4 picks, or 3 years and 3 picks, and you're going to pay him what, $30 million a year or something like that. Like, deal. I'll do it.
I mean,
you ask me, I'll do it.
I struggle because I look at Dort and I say I would rather a player like Dort on my team all day long, where he's going to, instead of put up 18 points, he's going to put up 14 points, and he's going to be one of the lockdown. What's that?
You don't think Steve Kerr would too?
Well, I know, but that's what's so crazy to me is that, like, I
Bob
can't,
Myers. This goes back
can't
to him.
understand why you would do this with a CBA coming on like this. We know the CBA is going to completely change everything, man. Like, we know it. Now you're sitting at the Warriors, and they have Wiggins, they have Poole, they have all these guys that are, in my opinion, untradeable contracts. Like they're going to have to pay some serious dough to get rid of these.
And this, like I said, this goes back to Bob Myers. But if you're going to build a championship team, you know a couple of things. Like you got to have like the nucleus, like your stars, and you pay them like stars. But you've got to like bring in role players who can be stars in their role. And when they're about to get paid big bucks, you let them go.
Yeah.
You got to let them go get those
or
big
trade
bucks
them.
somewhere else.
Or
Look
trade
at the
them.
Bulls, bro. The Bulls, they found different players to run in there, right? And if it was like, oh, we can't let John Paxson go, then you never get to Steve Kerr. If you can't let Horace Grant go, then you never get to Dennis Rodman. Like, you have to keep your core, and you got to let those other players come in for affordable contracts, because players who want championships will take affordable contracts that are less than they could get in the open market. And you got to build your roster that way. And Bob Myers burned that all down to give Andrew Wiggins. And by the way, he's playing really good. It's not that he doesn't deserve it, but he's always been inconsistent. So missing part of the season isn't a surprise to anybody.
He doesn't get Andrew Wiggins doesn't get $100 million in the open market. Just doesn't. You know, like I don't think that there's a player that's on that Warriors outside of the two superstars they have, which in retrospect, one of them is a question mark superstar. So you got Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Mm-hmm. Those dudes deserve money. Everybody else on that team is under $100 million contract.
Even Draymond.
Even Draymond, bro.
Because of his offensive output.
Yes. Every single time. And this is what happened. I'm looking at the Warriors, and I'm saying, I'm circling this because what we're about to watch happen with the Warriors is our greatest thing that we've always wanted.
Yeah, we're not even counting Wiseman.
Implosion.
Yeah, the implosion. You're right.
Right? Because guess what? The second that Curry, right? Kerr and Curry and Klay are done, it's over. It's over. Like, they have nothing else. They can't run it back with the young players they have. They can't get to the playoffs with the young players, and they're paying them almost max money.
They had the assets. I'm not saying I'm the biggest LaMelo Ball. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not saying I'm the biggest LaMelo Ball fan in the world, but if they had a chance to take LaMelo, and they didn't, and they took Wiseman, and now they moved off of him, like, LaMelo would have been a really good type of player to, if you wanted to eventually be able to continue your dynasty, pass it to the next generation, finding elite shooters who could, move into those same type of roles. But I don't know. Very, very strange to see the direction they took it in. And yeah, we're all every one of us enjoying watching them, fall apart. But it could be an illusion. We know that. We've seen enough. We've seen enough of the Warriors come back from the dead that this may not be over. So I'm hopeful the Lakers can finish them, and then the Lakers don't make it to the finals. That would be, for me, I'd like to see the winner of the Nuggets and the Suns series get there. I'm not really partial to either of those teams, but I do think that what we've seen from the Suns is they're a better playoff team than the Nuggets. Now, that's just because of the last two games, because shit. If you just went out for the two games in the Nuggets in Denver, you would think for sure that the Nuggets were the better playoff team than the Suns. And now the Suns, the way they push the ball, the way they play with confidence and transition, that looks to me like a really elite level of team. And I'm not saying anything bad about Chris Paul, because I love former Thunder players, but I don't think they could play this fast in transition with Chris Paul on the court. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, no, that's the thing about it, is that when Chris Paul has that ball and he's attacking that hole, he demands touching the ball. Like when you got Booker and KD, who I believe are two of the most efficient basketball players in the league, and I felt that for a long time. When I found out KD was going there, I was like, holy crap! Like, all Chris Paul has to do is push up the ball and pass it to one of these guys quickly, and they just shoot the ball instantaneously. Like, it's deadly. I don't know if this team is better without Chris Paul, because we didn't really ever see a chance with Chris Paul playing healthy through it all. So I do think that with Chris Paul, things slow down slightly. But now that Chris Paul's on the sidelines watching it, I do think that that's going to change how Chris Paul attacks how he comes back.
Yeah, it would need to. It'll probably change the rest of the playoffs for them, because I didn't know Booker could play at this speed and be nearly as effective, and it's like he plays in hyperspeed.
He's beautiful, bro.
It's crazy.
Beautiful.
So this series has kind of been a little hijacked by the Freak Show. So let's talk a little bit about the Freak Show. The new owner of the Suns, who most people didn't really feel like they could recognize going into it. In fact, I was watching on mute, and I was like, who the hell is that guy with Isaiah Thomas, right? Now everybody knows his face. Let's put it that way. And
that's a hell of a way to make your imprint that you are the owner.
I am the owner, right? So do you think that the NBA did the right thing with Jokic?
No, I do not actually. When Joker decided to go into the fans and then act like the owner was a fan and made it a fan thing, I think it really made it difficult for the commissioner, because then it's not a team versus or player versus a fan. It's a player versus a team organization, you know? If he had gone into that with that, I think he would have been fine. But he went in there saying he was just a fan, trying to insult the Suns owner, and the Suns owner was just above that when he came back and was just like, I don't think that he should be suspended for this, you know, taking the higher road, which is, again, very critical in the situation, because if he has said he deserves to be suspended for punching me or hitting me or pushing me, then he would have been.
You ready? I'm going to ask you a question, bro.
All right, man, do it.
Let's rewind time and say David Stern is still running the league. How does he handle this situation? Because he was a very strict, like you cross the line, right? When the bench brawl, you're suspended the next game. He had no mercy, and he impacted series with that. Would he be taking a different line on this?
I struggle at this. I want to be respectful to this in the situation that it is. Mm-hmm. I think I think it's the right situation. I should put it like that. We had a white player and a white owner, and they got the situation that it did. I think if it was any other situation, it would be a different situation. And I hate saying it, really? Especially with David Stern in office, that would have been a different situation. Wow. And so again, I'm grateful that David Stern's not in office, and I'm grateful that it is done by what's that?
Because we can move past it. Because if there was a suspension, then this would be like the thing everybody remembered about the series is how an owner interfered and the Nuggets would feel ripped off. Like, I want to see this series end, full strength. But like, I do think that we've kind of crossed into uncharted territory here. And when you look at that, you're like, well, okay, so we have a relatively new commissioner, although he's not new. He's been around it for a while, but he's definitely taking.
He's still making his mark.
Stance, right? We'll call him the players commissioner, right? Compared to David Stern, who was really an owners commissioner.
Oh,
and yeah. I know every commissioner is an owners commissioner. They have to be. That's how they keep their job. But some in different sports take a really strong pro player stance that encourages different things. And I'm hoping though that this isn't like the beginning of like, okay, fan player interaction, because
if this is and he failed to do something about it, then we're gonna be sitting back at the same table in 6 months, 8 months, and being
maybe worse table. Because if you look at the Malice and the Palace, you end up with a very different potential negative outcome. And I understand that it's not for everybody. They're like, oh, this isn't about to be that. Fine. It's not. That was not going to be that situation. But you did see a fan reach over and push Jokic, reach over over Matt there. And he pushed him. So you did see some, and it's like, oh, well, that's nothing. It's not nothing. Is it a big deal? I don't know. But there's something there, and we need to be very cautious of it, because the players are constantly asking for more protection from the players. The last thing we need is for fans to be asking for more protection, because I've seen enough interactions between Russell Westbrook and fans. It's
the Philly fan that was flipping off,
it's ugly.
It gets insane, and it's an intensity thing.
I've done it too, though. I've been one of those fans that got into a player's head at games. Like Rudy Gay and I got into it one time. I enjoy that element of the game, but there's a part where you cross a racial line, where there's a part where you start yelling the F-bomb, flipping people off, where you're like, if they were doing it, they would get ejected, but you can do it because you're a fan, you should get ejected.
Yeah, I agree. There needs to be respect. There needs to be respect of the space of the fans and of the players. And when, it's inevitable, players are going to go dive after the ball. When players dive after the ball, the commissioner needs to address that, because players that are intense, like Joker, he tries to get up a one step up any chance he gets. The whole reason he was over there was not to help up the teammates, was to do what?
Start a fast break.
And that's why that whole situation happened. And I think that the commissioner needs to say, when players enter the fans, the ball does not go into play until everybody is out, because now nobody, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it just doesn't make sense why we have players interacting with fans like that. Because if the owner is holding the ball and helping his player up, right, and Joker has to stay on the court, right, it doesn't matter anymore. Everybody's like walking away. But now Joker's trying to get one up on everybody. He's like, I got this. And what does he do? He gets in the fans, trying to steal the ball, trying to create a fast break that he had no, position of doing so. Period.
Okay, so let's talk about a different sport, a different situation. Okay, but
right.
Similar, right?
All right.
Chicago Cubs playoff series are dashed by a fan reaching into the arena, into the gameplay, and trying to catch a ball.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name. I'm sure somebody out there will, because they made a whole ESPN documentary about him, and it influenced the game. Yankees fan influences a game, reaches into
Jeffrey Mayer, bro.
There you go. I knew you remember that one. But my point is, like, we see it in other sports, right?
Yeah.
And they do address it. They say, like, okay, from now on here, like, I think the Jeffrey Mayer rule was basically like, if the trajectory is going to be a home run, like they ended up like trying to guess which way things were going after that, because they're like, we can't have fans doing that.
Yeah.
Here we are. You think that a rule like this saying the players should not be able to run and grab Steve Bartman? Thank you, Nick. Go grab the ball and start a fast break. If they try to do that, the refs need to say, hold up, get back, everything's set.
They can't. Legally in the NBA, you can't. Like, the ball's out of balance, right? The ref has to touch it before anything else goes. Okay. The ref has to touch the ball, so the players will grab the ball and hand it to the ref, and the ref will hand it back.
That's what they already do, though.
But that's my point. Is that
it's just like a touch pass.
Players go into the fans, right? What needs to happen is that the ball needs to go to the ref, and the ref needs to hold the ball until everybody's out of the fans.
So, like, if you're legislating it, like, how would you do it? Would you give it a 3 count, or would you actually say, like, everybody has to be on the other side of half court?
Everybody has to be on the floor. Everybody has to be in play.
Okay.
Because that way it's minimizing. Because listen, if a fast break happens and a player runs into the fans and gets a cut over his eye and stuff like that, like, come on. Right. You don't want that starting another fast break, because then you have a situation on your hand. Like, we're lucky stuff like that doesn't happen all the time, because those chairs they're running into are metal. So,
and it's interesting because I can't think of another example in any other sport, like, where everybody's like trying to, like, they're interacting with a fan, trying to start an advantage for themselves. So a fan could, in theory, slow it down. Like, I don't know enough about soccer, but I'm just saying,
like soccer and NBL. Right. I think it was the NBL. I was watching, and the ball went out of balance, right? Instead of passing the ball back to the player, they threw the ball behind him.
Right, so, like, here's the thing.
And they throw the ball up and all that
NFL, they just get a new ball, right? And and the NBA, they don't do that. Baseball, they just get a new ball. And
but that's
soccer,
what I'm saying. That's what
so
they should be doing.
Ways that, right.
And yes, the players like to have the consistency with the basketball. We've all been there. We've all like the feel of a certain basketball. You'll see LeBron James pick out the basketball, and they have like 5 basketballs to pick from. But the 5 basketballs, they need to find a way to make them consistent, and then it doesn't matter. And then you can have 5 basketballs. One goes out of balance, then you have a ball boy. They go and get that ball from the fans. They wash it. They just disinfect it, and they put it back on the rack.
Damn, dude. All right, man. You just took it to another level.
Because it needs to be protecting these players. This is what needs to happen. Like, this isn't. Have you guys seen that futuristic basketball with it's black and it's clear and it's you can see through it and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's the future of hoops, man. Because then there's no way to put weights in it or anything else like that to get an advantage like we've seen in the past of people doing. It makes a difference. And I think having a consistency where you can pick up any basketball, it's the same. I mean, soccer, obviously, or football, it's different. But I don't know, man. This leather skin, whatever stuff, man, we've got to evolve from that. We've got to move on from that. And we've got to find something as consistency that we can pick up. And it doesn't matter which one it is.
God damn. All right. That's some next level shit right there. Now let's talk a little bit about this Knicks series. But first, I want to say, Steve, I'm glad that you guys won a World Series, and Bartman has been forgiven by the fan base in Chicago. I don't want to speak for everybody, but it seems like everybody can let that one go now. But the Knicks and the Heat. Knicks, a tortured franchise. 73 is the last time they won a championship, so 50 years or something like that. All right, so what? 60 years, I guess? I don't know, dude. Here's my
who again?
The Knicks.
Oh, yeah, it's
73.
Willis Reed, right?
Yeah, that whole group.
And that whole group there.
Phil Jackson, I think, was on that team. Yeah. Let's talk about that series. Is it over?
Listen, I really believe, I wanted to believe in the Knicks and their defense and the way they're going. It just seems like something is just off right now with them. So I think it's not over, obviously, until the New York opera singer starts singing, but yeah. I think it's pretty damn close, man. I think the Knicks have to pull themselves.
You, dude. You just avoided saying the fat lady, and you said the New York opera singer.
Well, I don't know what else to say because I'm being like politically correct right now, guys. Because I've got a drop going down with my titties, guys. Remember that Seinfeld? I better
fucking fix this right now, dude.
Remember that Seinfeld, bro?
What?
The bro Seinfeld where Kramer comes up with the men's Bruget, a man Bruget, where it's like just a man's bra. They call it the bro, and it helped you so whenever you run. So I think I need to invest in those.
You run a lot?
No, I roll a lot.
George,
what's up, George?
George is saying we're gonna see Butler.
He is a beast, man.
Get that chip.
I love Butler.
And trying.
Listen, I want more than anything else in this year to see an 8 and a 7 seed make it to the finals. I would just love that. I mean, it would make me so happy.
I can't be the only person out there who, when they see Josh Hart wearing that number 3, feels like they sometimes see John Starks out there.
Yeah,
like it's
so weird seeing.
He's bigger.
Dude.
He's not the same size. But and they don't run the same or anything. But sometimes you feel like he's John Starks.
Yeah,
and it's hard not to cheer. I don't like the Knicks. I mean, I really don't like the Knicks, but not because of the Knicks. It's because of their ownership. I hate James Dolan. I think he's a douche. What he did to Charles Oakley, he should be thrown out of the NBA. And I would love to see that happen. And until then, I won't ever support the Knicks. But it's hard not to as a childhood Knicks fan, not to love seeing John Starks on the baseline. Waving the towel, getting the fans hyped. It's like calling me home. I'm like, no, it's James Dolan. You can put John Starks down there and it won't change it. James Dolan is a huge cancer for the NBA. And I'm glad that they're having success right now because it's good for the NBA. But I won't be happy until James Dolan rests in peace.
So if you ask the NBA in general to draw a picture of the biggest fuckhole in the NBA, it would definitely look like James Dolan. And my problem with that is that I so badly want to like him, but then I just see him playing his douchebag guitar, and it's like, you know what? I get it. What money gets you, you just buy whatever you want, but just go buy a normal guitar instead of being like, and this was the one that Jimi Hendrix played, and it's like, all right, bro, you lost me. You could have just played a guitar and been cool, but instead you just made this so impossible that nobody else is ever going to be able to top. So fuck you, James Dolan, and fuck you for making Charles Oakley a bad guy.
And then security for the Madison Square Garden almost threw Patrick Ewing out. I mean, I'm like, come on, guys. This is getting too much.
It's getting greasy, bro.
So I'm looking forward to us having our throw James Dolan moment out like the NFL got their Bill Snyder. Isn't that his name? Snyder? Dan Snyder moment.
Danny. Dun dun.
I think it's over. I don't know for sure if it's finalized, but everybody feels like they're celebrating in the streets anyway. Talk to me right now. Celtics, 76ers.
Celtics and Sixers, man. All right.
Make a call.
Well, I do want the Sixers to beat the Celtics just because I don't think I'm ready for the Celtics to be done building their team. So, and on top of that, I don't want any other team to be the youngest team to win a championship. I want us to be the youngest team to win a championship. So when people look at it, I want it to be like, oh, there's a veteran team. But when another team arrives, I don't want it to be the fucking Celtics. I want people to be like, oh, there you go. There's 2 stars under 24 years old. Look at that. They were able to accomplish. No. That's ours. I want that. So I want the Celtics to get beat and us to continue doing what we're doing.
All right. I like how you made that all about us. So
it is. It's all about us.
The 76ers are in a situation where, like, you from game to game, you don't know which team you're going to get, which version of the team, how it's going to go. This series, it's 4 games in, they've been 4 different teams. So,
and that's why I think the Heat could beat them too, which makes me.
Okay. So that's what you would call maybe like a Heat, Sixers, Heat go to the finals?
Yeah, absolutely. If the Heat have to go against the Celtics, I think the Heat have a much more difficult time against the Celtics. And I really, really want the Heat to be able to play in the championship. So I think it's going to go 76ers Heat, and then Heat win from there.
Okay, so I know you've been watching, like, every time they show Pat Riley, it's all business.
Yeah.
Alonzo Mourning, all business.
Mm-hmm.
They show up at every game. They expect to win, and they're pissed when they don't. But they understand the length of the playoffs, and they understand. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen an 8 team where you look at the management, and you're like, oh, yeah, that team expects to win every single time. And I'm not saying that it's like automatic for them, but it's pretty impressive the culture that Pat Riley has created there. And make no mistake about it, it's Pat Riley. It's his culture.
Yeah, and he's taught Eric so well what to do, Coach Eric,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, bro, it's elite, I think of the story when LeBron James, after the first year in Miami, he went to Pat Riley's office, right? And he said, Pat, you got to take over. You got to coach. Mm-hmm. Eric doesn't get it. Mm-hmm. And what does Pat do? No, I already did that once. Not doing it again. And I think that was a moment that he had to take it over. And if he had taken it back over, right, Eric would have never been that coach. He would never have that culture. And he knew that. And he needed that culture to be able to be a GM and president as long as he has. Because let's just be honest, like, he's working for percentages of ownership.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. Guarantee you it's something in his contract that if he works and is a, president, GM, whatever, for 20 plus years, whatever it is, 30 years, that he continues to get ownership stake. So it's that. I mean, he's working for his future. And now that he has the system in place that he can continue doing what he's doing, I mean, I don't know if he's got 2, 3, 4, 5 more years, but he'll be able to do it as long as he wants to do it because of it. And I love it.
Let's flip this to Sam Presti and think about something like, theoretically, could the Thunder make a similar Godfather-style permanent deal with Sam Presti? Like,
okay, so
that's what the Heat did to extract, Pat Riley, and Pat Riley was just a coach.
Yeah,
just, but like a president of basketball operations who maybe gets offered a piece of the business plus, $10 million a year. Pretty significant thing. Is that something that the Thunder would have to do?
I think it's going to come up here soon. And if it hasn't already and it's behind the scenes, then it has to be addressed because there's what's right, you know what I'm saying? And there's making sure that somebody, okay, you're working for a company, Mark, right? Let's just say this company all of a sudden does, $2 billion in sales, right? And it was because of one of your ideas that they make $2 billion in sales. Now, you're expecting a little bit of a chunk of change as a bonus. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because you've created a product that was worth $2 billion in the industry. I hope the Oklahoma City Thunder look at it like that with Sam Presti. It's like, hey, listen, you created us a program that's worth $2 billion at this moment. We're going to provide you with blank amount of capital because of it. Now, that would be the reward that I believe that he would receive, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, like, let's just be honest, because like people protect their nuts as much as they possibly can, and they probably are paying him incredibly, very, very handsomely. And it's only a matter of time before he starts slipping into that president role. And he's already has that president GM role, but all the way president role and allows a GM to come in.
Right.
Like it's only a matter of time.
That's the type of progression you get from somebody as they move into the Pat Riley role.
Like the semi-retirement role.
Right. And like he's built something where he should be able to, oversee it from a little bit of a distance as you
until he's 70, 75 years old as a president.
I mean, if you remember post-draft this last year, we had Presti sitting down with, I forget who, but one of his assistant GMs. And I'm like, that's the future.
That's it. And I think the way that Sam rotates the coaches in the G League as well, allowing them to all coach be the head coach down there,
Right, exactly.
I think is key, kind of realizing probably what, I mean, I could be totally off on this, and he could only have one assistant GM, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes through that progression with a number of his people that he considers high up there. He has like an echelon of like true assistant GMs versus assistant GM. Like as Dwight used to say, I'm the assistant to the management, and there's
assistant general manager. No, assistant to the general manager.
I'm assistant to the general manager. Right. I think that's the thing that would be the difference in those, whether you're the assistant manager or assistant to the general manager. And I think that for me, I'm looking at that and seeing how the Oklahoma City Thunder do that, and seeing the connections to the coaches, to the players, to the GMs, to all that other stuff. It's important, because they're all learning how to become a master at their craft.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot, like investing in staff, investing in your assistant general managers, investing in your coaches and your assistant coaches, building into not just player development, but coaching development, staff development. And Dave, you sent me this thing, so let's talk about it, because I looked at it the first time and I didn't see what you saw. So I'm pulling it up and I'm going to share it. Hang on one second. I'm going to share it with everybody as soon as I can figure out how. Dave, explain what we're looking at. I texted it to you.
Oh, you did? Okay, my bad.
Sorry, I thought you were looking at it.
You and me.
I thought you were looking at it with me. All right, it's
all right,
what we're looking at.
Cool.
Is go ahead. Key
First
NBA
of
all rookie team voting.
All right, let's just get into that, because you guys can find this on NBA.
I'm going to share it with everybody who's watching here.
All right, perfect. Mark's going to share that. So we look at the total points for the 2022-2023 Kia NBA All Rookie First Team, right? Paolo, which has 100, shouldn't be surprising there. Then we get to J-Dub, has 99 and one second place vote. And I constantly wonder, what the hell? Like, who in their right mind would have voted J-Dub a second place vote, right? So we start looking at Jaden Ivey was, right there. Benedict Mathurin had 71. So you have the three that were at the top were 100 for Paolo, 99 J-Dub.
Right, so which is incredible right there, right?
Yep.
He only had one away from that, which is pretty, two first team all right there.
So then you keep on looking, and then you're like, oh, I wonder if any of the other Thunder players got on. So you start scrolling down, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, Jalen Williams has one first place vote, which begs to differ. And it started this crazy thing over Twitter and all over everywhere. It's like, did J Will just steal J-Dub's number one vote? And people were like, what the fuck? So the NBA put an investigation into it. Not even kidding, guys. Guess what happens?
What?
The person that voted for J-Dub also voted for J Will. So somebody didn't vote for J-Dub first team, all rookie team. Insanity, bro.
So, wow, dude. See, I knew you got some heavy shit here, but irregardless, let's talk about J Will. If they did have a third team, he would be on it. Even if you took away that 2 point, he'd still be fifth. Now, I know they don't do that, so we can't talk about it, but he's 15th in overall. And by the way, this goes back to what we were saying. He started out in the G League. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be playing much this season, and if they thought he was going to be playing, they definitely didn't think he'd be making an impact. And here we are. J Will making an impact on the all-rookie team.
That's amazing.
J-Dub, 1 point off Paulo for the perfect score. 199 out of a possible 200. Only one person gave him a second place vote.
Let's just be honest. It was either Orlando.
It was Orlando
person, or it was Walker, or it was Utah, because it was like, hey, there's one opportunity that we get here. And we already know that the Utah voters, regardless, voted for Walker Kessler for the Rookie of the Year. And that's why he had 2 first-place votes. So it doesn't mean that that's what happened, but shenanigans are amongst...
Shenanigans. All right, so let's have a fun... Paulo goes number 1. J-Dub goes number 12. Walker Kessler, where did he go? I think he went like 13th. 13th, okay.
13 or 14, yeah. Whatever.
Murray went 5th, right? Or 4th?
4th. Wait, no, Jaden Ivey went 4th.
Ivy went 4th. Matherin, I think, went 6 or 7.
I'm so bad at this.
I know, exactly. This isn't easy, but we know Jabari where it went. He went at number 3.
3. I think it was Jaden Ivey 4, and then it was 5. It was Keegan.
Do you remember when we started talking about J-Dub having a longer, more successful career than Paulo? Like, we were totally blasted.
Oh my God, people made fun of us for it.
Now, I'm not saying that this proves anything, but I would say that if you were looking at this, you would say that the NBA writers have agreed that there are 2 players who are definitely in the running for the best player. You say Walker Kessler?
Yes, and I think here's the thing about it.
But I'm talking about like a 15-year NBA career.
Yes.
Where you go on to
Walker Kessler will be a make
10 All-Star games and stuff like that.
I don't know about 10, but Walker Kessler will make 5.
Maybe.
He's good, bro. He's really
I get it. He's really
good.
good. He's really big. He impacts games.
Yeah.
Okay. But in the end, like, how many guys do you really feel like make All-Star games because of their defensive impact? I mean, I remember Rudy Gobert like having to cry to get votes, like literally breaking down, like, I don't know what I have to do, and then they started getting votes.
You're right.
I'm just saying, like, to me, it's Paulo and J-Dub, right? Paulo and J-Dub, they got guard skills. They got the ability to attack from the perimeter. They understand. They're modern NBA players.
Yes.
So then you say, which one of those 2 guys are going to have a longer, more impactful...
Well, if Paulo learns to shoot a 3, which I don't think... I mean, let's just be honest. I think his best years in threes will probably be around 33%, 34%. I don't think he's ever going to pass that 40%. And I think the more I watch J-Dub's form, especially this offseason, and watching all the things that he's been able to do, bro, I want to be kind to all the rest of our players on this team. Make sure I don't hurt any feelings.
You always hurt feelings.
But there's 2 guys on this team that I feel like have a shot that's just like, wow. And that's Isaiah Joe, and that's J-Dub. I think J-Dub will be a 40-plus 3-point shooter. And because of that, and the defense he brings, and the ability to get downhill.
What about his mechanics make you think that?
All right. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if you really want to watch J-Dub's mechanics, all right, the best way of understanding it is there's 2 ways, okay? The catch and shoot, right? And you watch the catch and shoot shot. It looks identical, okay, to his dribble off the dribble shoot a shot, the step into the shot. Like his release is exactly the same. You know, like everybody talks about releases being important. Everybody talks about footwork being important. But when you see a player that consistently puts the same shot up over and over and over and over again, right? You're like, okay, that player gets it, right? And how many times did we see that J-Dub's shot just barely went out or rimmed out or in and out and all that other stuff? Those are slight changes for J-Dub's shot. And we're talking like slight changes, whether he put too much thumb into it, whether his fingers weren't straight, whether like there's certain things that he's doing wrong that will get better. But when you come to the best shots on the team, J-Dub has to be right there. And I look at the shot, I look at the way he releases, I look at the way the elbow, the knee, the toe, they're all connected. You know, like it's something that I feel horrible for. We talked about a lot of his shot during the season and how beautiful it was and how just the mechanics look good, but we didn't get into grave detail about it because like there's so much else that was going on, and I feel bad about it because there's so much things about his shot and his footwork and the way that he's able to get straight And even though his feet are off a little bit, he just gets his body straight. He does all the little things right. And yes, his shot didn't go in. And yes, but that's the NBA. And he's only played in college ball. And before it all started for him, he was 6'2" going into college, guys. Like now he's 6'6", playing in the NBA in 3 years. Like, there's going to be a learning curve for him. So when we're talking about the best players in this draft, I said it when we got them. I'll say it again. I'll yell it from the rooftop. In 10 years, the redraft will happen. It will have Chet number 1 and it will have J-Dub number 2.
All right, now let's talk about something else, bro. Because another thing that we got ridiculed for was we started saying that we felt like J. Will had made an impact that he would move up into the lottery. Like he was a good enough NBA player where he was a late lottery pick. Walker
15,
Kessler
baby.
moved into this spot where he would have been much higher picked than he was. But I think J-Dub probably would have been picked somewhere around Walker Kessler's level if people knew the impact he could have made. And I still think he has a lot of way he can go up because his shot is coming along. His charge-taking ability isn't going to change. It's only going to become more impactful unless the NBA rules change. But I think he's young enough. If they did change the rules, he would adjust. He'd be fine. And I do think...
But the NBA, they value the charge, bro.
They do.
They do. Very much so. And I think J. Will's ability to do that is going to only get better.
And how many games did he really play for us? I mean, it took him a while.
I think 50. I mean, like...
And to get these votes is pretty significant with this limited sample size.
It's 50, but I want to say like impacted 40 games. Like he played in significant amount in 40 of the games. And it could only be 35. I don't know. But here's the thing about it, is that we saw enough about it that he led the league in charges.
I just thought of something. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
I do believe J. Will got one more first team vote than Josh Giddey.
True.
Josh Giddey got 0 last year.
0.
And it pissed him off.
It did.
And it should have pissed him off.
And I
support him being pissed off about that.
Yeah. And well, he only played 50-something games. J. Will played less games or around the same and got 1 vote, which is insane. So again, like the way that J. Will was able to adapt his game so quickly to the NBA is something that needs to be, people would stop, and when a redraft will happen and people will be like, well, J. Will was able to do this in the short amount of time that he came into the league. Like next year, people will be talking about Chet's blocks per game, but I wouldn't be surprised if J. Will ends up having like 2.5 charges a game. I mean, like, has there ever been anybody that's gotten 150 charges in a season? Hell no, there hasn't. I don't think there's ever been a player that's gotten over 100 charges in a season.
There have been. I looked it up. I think.
Oh, there has been?
Yeah, I think there was a couple of years where somebody got like Shane Battier got over 100. Like,
okay, all right, but barely though over 100, right?
Wrong about that though. Yeah,
but we're talking like small numbers over 100, not like 20
right.
numbers.
150 is like it would be a crazy number.
It would be known for. It would be like Steph Curry's known for breaking the threes record. Like J. Will be known, like if you're coming into the lane, you're going to get charged or you can get blocked by Chet. Like what team, and this isn't in the league, guys. I want to make sure you guys all understand this. This isn't in the league that we're talking about, that driving to the hole is the most valuable asset right now. And we got 2 shot blockers, essentially. We've got the person that's going to get people in foul trouble by coming in the lane, which I think that he could average an insane amount of charges in a season throughout his career. And then you have the other player you have is Chet. And Chet is the ghost blocker, man. He comes out of nowhere and blocks you. He doesn't need to have contact. I mean, if players want to go up and get contact against him, they can. But when you have 2 guys like this that are designed and set up, that are playing in the league together, they have time to grow together. I'm telling you, the duo together is going to be like representing at least 5 possession changes a game.
Now, this brings me back all the way back to kind of where we started, which was Jordan Poole, the Warriors, the way they built their team. Like, you have to be able to pair high draft picks with second round picks.
Sure.
And you can't pay those second round picks or those late first round picks, superstar money. You've got to keep your core intact. You've got to keep the other players rotating around them. And when they go from like star in their role to star paid, you got to move them out. So I look at it and I'm like, yeah, like you could seriously see Chet and J. Will partnering up for a very long time.
Very.
And a lot of that is because, well, let's face it, Draymond Green was a second-round pick. That made him a perfect candidate to fill in the gaps between Clay and Steph. And honestly, they had a number 1 pick in Andrew Bogut. I can't say his name right now, but he was a number 1 pick, so he wasn't picked by them. He was picked by the Bucks. But at that point, he was one of the leaders of the team.
Yeah.
Draymond came along during that time and really became the emotional leader of the team. And then he began to play that high post passing role, took over some of those responsibilities. But in the end, he's just a second-round pick. And if you can't replace role players with second-round picks and continue to contend, then you end up being where the Warriors are. You're overpaying Wiggins. You're overpaying Poole. You can't go out and get the right players. And then all of a sudden, you're deep into a playoff series, and coach looks down the bench, and he's like, Moody's the only guy I trust. And he didn't even play him that much in the regular season. But, yeah, I mean, JaMychal Green, 0 for 2.
Yeah.
Just a couple of minutes there. We already talked about Poole's shitty numbers.
This is why it's important. You can no longer have multiple crazy contracts out there. What's up, Sammy? How are you doing, man? I look at the contract issue that the Golden State's in, and there's going to never be a team like that ever again. And I say that, but we've seen it happen whenever like this is happening, the crazy numbers, right? And all of a sudden this next contract for the next 7 years is going to cut that down, right? And then all of a sudden the next 7 years is probably going to be full with a little bit looser contract, meaning that that's what benefits the Thunder, and nobody really recognizes that yet. So again, it's just going to go back and forth until they find this nice medium. Because when you're talking about billions of dollars for TV contracts, like the players are going to start believing that they believe to get more money, and well, they should. Like we shouldn't be talking about like capping out some of these contracts, especially when you have somebody that's going to come into your organization like LeBron James and take over, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's worth $1 billion more. Like they need to be able to bring in more money.
For sure, dude. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but I think like
hell yeah, Sammy, thank you.
These new rules are creating an environment where the tax is going to the NBA and not going to the players. Like the Warriors paying I think $3 for every dollar to the NBA for taxes. It's pretty significant, and I don't think the Warriors were sustainable anyway. They were paying like $100 million a year plus in taxes, $150 I think. Like that's $1.5 billion over 10 years. Not sustainable. Then on top of that, it's going to get more punitive. It's going to be more difficult to build. So this is the end of the type of team the Warriors built.
Yeah.
By the end, Bob Myers should be tarred and feathered and sent out of town.
Yeah, man.
Is that still something they do? I don't think they do that.
Man, made me start thinking. As we're wrapping this up, I got to say this, man. Mark and I are talking about starting to make some t-shirts. So I know we have a ton of fans out there. If you own a t-shirt company or work with a t-shirt company, you can get us a deal. Please let me know in the comments, because I would love to be able to start doing that. But you know how things are. We just want to go slow. We're not expecting money. We just want to be able to put our little Flavor Flav on a t-shirt for you guys. And we're just looking at doing stuff like that because we don't ask for subscriptions or likes or anything else like that. We just enjoy being with you guys. But, we want to create a t-shirt too because it's fun wearing other people's t-shirts, but it's time to wear ours.
For sure. Sebastian, what's up, man? All right, so we're going to talk more about this as shit gets closer.
Yeah, Sebastian, we got 1 week from today.
But
1 week from today.
One name, if you just want to hear one name.
Okay. One name from each or just you?
Sure, both of us.
All right, you go for it.
All right, Arkansas, Nick Smith Jr. Isn't
that bastard. You bastard. All right.
Go, Dave.
All right. Rayan Rupert. That's mine.
All right.
Mark took my first initial one, but Rayan Rupert is a really outstanding, incredibly long arms, great defender, and he plays in the NBL, so really good.
Eaton, I agree, man. I think that that's going to be an issue in the future of NBA, but right now, players like Gobert still have a little bit of value. Over a long haul of the evolution of the game, more and more stress will be put on those players who can't impact the game from the perimeter, I think. But as of right now, I think I can see why people dig him, but I totally agree with your assessment of the direction the future of the NBA will take.
That's it.
There you go, Dave.
I love it. What's that?
No, that's it. You said that's it. I said that's it.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
First?
Spaced out there for a minute. Well, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Everybody that joins us live, and then everybody that comes on afterwards to the podcast and listens to them. We try to break them up so that all y'all people that don't enjoy listening to us consistently talk about random shit, you can get right to the meats with a Thunder or whatever other shit that we talked about. So again, we appreciate you all.
Smitsta, I will be joining you in 10 minutes.
You are my heart, Smitsta. Ooh, 18-year-old French guy. I love it.